the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro. So we've covered some leaks a few weeks ago. John Prosser from Front Page Tech had some very high quality renders based on device images he had seen, and they turned out to be exactly right, because Google yesterday decided to reveal the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro. It kind of seemed like they were like, hey, this has already been leaked anyway, so we might as well do it officially, similar to what they did with the Pixel 5, I believe, right?
And the Pixel 4.
Honestly, somebody needs to relook at Google's, NDAs and...
Actually, no. You know what I think that Google needs to do? I think when they decide to start building the Pixel 7, they should invite us in a live stream on YouTube at the boardroom process when they are discussing about the device, because at this point we should be right there with them.
Exactly. It's just it's I mean, it's not good. It's not good. But anyway, we'll get to that. But let's just talk about the devices themselves. So the details have been revealed. There's of course a Google Pixel 6 as well as 6 Pro. The Google Pixel 6 has a 6.4-inch Full HD flat display, 90 Hz. The Pro has a 6.7-inch Quad HD display, 120 Hz, and this will be curved, not flat. The Pixel 6 will have a dual camera setup, so we've got a primary as well as an ultra wide. The Pixel 6 Pro will have a triple camera setup, so a primary, ultra wide, as well as a 4x telephoto. Both devices are going to be available in 3 colors. Now, they're different color palettes. You'll see those from the rendered images. And then the more sort of exciting thing, and the thing that Google really wants to push, is the fact that these will be powered by the Google Tensor Chip. Not Qualcomm, not MediaTek, Google Tensor Chip. And then they're of course going to be coming with Android 12. Now, the Tensor Chip is kind of the interesting thing, because this is a big leap for Google. They're really coming into the flagship side of things, and having the hardware and the software, having that control, is going to allow them to give you much more improved AI, machine learning, all of these things that we see on Google devices that make them Google Pixel devices will just be improved. Things will be faster. Things like translation, text to voice to speech, all of that is going to be much faster. But the camera is also going to be improved. So Google has been using the same hardware for many years, since the Google Pixel 2, right? But apparently the sensors are going to be improved. We're going to have 150% more light on the primary sensor, and also improved video. This is something Marquez was talking about. Only a very few reviewers, I think it was just Marquez, The Verge, and CNET, that actually got early hands-on access to the Pixel devices. And they were saying that there's been some big improvements for video, because the Tensor Chip allows the Pixel to apply some of the processing that it does on images. Very contrasty and very high dynamic range on Google Pixel photos. Now they'll be able to do that on video, because let's be honest, Pixel devices have really not been good in the video department. And I've said this many times in my camera reviews of the Pixels, right? It's like video is always an afterthought for Pixel devices, and it always has been, right? It's always been kind of like, okay, it's all about photos. Video is just like kind of an afterthought, and always consistently fails against the iPhone, the Samsungs, all of them, right? Just video just doesn't match up. But apparently now, thanks to the Tensor Chip, it's going to be improved. The devices will be coming out in autumn.
Interesting. So, when you just mentioned video there, and to me, as much as you can do a lot of things stabilizing video and fixing video with software. Hardware is always more important for me on video, especially stabilization, things like having a laser or a LiDAR, because that helps as well with focal points, especially when you're shooting video. We'll have to see how it works, because it's funny we mentioned this. I just had a conversation with my buddy Warren from BW1, and we were talking about the Pixel 6. And he sees this as a really great avenue for Pixel to really jump in and challenge even Samsung. And I personally was like, when they fix video, they can come and call me, just because I just did a video with the Pixel 5 in Nigeria, and I shot most of my content with the Pixel 5. While it was generally good, it wasn't great, and at certain points it was just like, well, here's just what you're looking at, guys, enjoy.
You could use any phone for that, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But I think with the Tensor chip, I believe it's a system on the chip, right? If I'm not mistaken.
It is.
So it's a system on a chip. I think I am actually, me personally, I am more excited about what Google does with the chip outside of phones than with the phone, honestly, because one of the things I see is that yes, camera photos will get better, but I'm always bothered about how Google markets this stuff and how it goes out, because I like what they do with the hardware. I like the improvements. You got to match. If you're going to play with the big dogs, you got to match the big dogs, right? But why still do I care about the Pixel? Because one of the things that's very important is Apple gives you the ecosystem and says, here's the ecosystem for buying an Apple device, right? That's the thing that people like. Samsung says, here's the coolness, not just cool as in cool factor, but it's like, we give you a ton of stuff that you can play with. Some of them might be great, some of them might be so much, but we give you options, and the things that you want to work well, they work well. Right. So what's Google bringing to the table there that says, ooh, I should buy a Pixel device? Because I think from the spec analysis and breakdown you've given me, is fine. And then for the Android fans, is that Tensor chipset going to be powerful enough for the gaming side of Android? The people that just want specs for, spec sake, because that's what a lot of Android users are too. Is like, we just want to have the best, right? So does it match up to that best?
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously a lot of questions to be answered. I mean, from the overall look of the device and with what we're seeing, it seems to be right up there in terms of flagships. Obviously, we saw with the Google Pixel 5 in particular, it was kind of a mid-range device, right? You're looking at around the £700 mark. This looks like it's going to be up there with the big dogs. It's going to be compared to the S21 Ultra. It's going to be compared to the iPhone 13 Pro Max, right? And the design as well is quite striking. It stands out. It's different, right? The visor thing, it's growing on me. I'm liking it because it's, kind of reminds me of the Nexus 6P with that camera module. But I'm seeing these renders, and from what Marquez and a few others are saying, in person they actually look better. Obviously, Google have only shown the renders, but I am excited about the devices, and I think they're going to be, from Google's point of view, the most talked about and the most popular devices that they'll have. But here's the thing, right? Autumn is a long time away. We're in August right now, okay?
Yeah.
In between that time, we talked about this. In between that time, we're going to have many new devices. The Folds are coming next week. There's going to be so many other devices that are going to be coming between that time. By the time the devices come out, right, that hype, Sony is the perfect example of this, right? They tease a product, they talk about it, they announce it, and then 3 months later is when it's actually out. By that time, there's been so many of the devices, people don't even remember it, right? And they've already probably bought another device, right? They've not held back to check out the Pixel. And this is my problem, right? I kind of see why they kind of went ahead and did this, because the device had been leaked so much anyway. So they're like, okay, we might as well. But I just think personally, it's a bad move.
I agree with you. I think this announcement should have been an announcement for the Tensor chip, not the device.
Yeah.
It should have been about the chip. They should have had that chip in the Pixel 5, showcased it in the Pixel 5, and talk about the fact that this chip has taken the Pixel 5's photos from this to this. Then imagine what it would do in the Pixel 6.
Yeah, that's a tease. See? To me, what they showed was not a tease. That was a reveal. No. Right?
That was a launch. That was a launch.
So they call it a tease. All we need is
price.
Yeah, so it's a tease, but that's not really a tease, because you've almost given us, 70 to 75% of what we need to know about the device. You've already revealed all of that, right? There's a little details in terms of how many megapixels and a few different things in charging stuff, but 75% of the stuff you've already given to us. This is not a tease. This is a reveal. This is a launch, whatever you want to call it, right? But it's not a tease. A tease is like, hey, this is, it's exactly that, teasing. They've just gone premature and just put everything out there, right? All right.
Yeah.
So,
they have.
So that's the thing. And the other thing that we touched on earlier on is Google really needs to get a handle on these leaks, because sure, all devices get leaked, right? But Google in particular, and also very, very early. And the problem is, it's time and time again, right? okay, fair enough. You can say they were new to the market. Maybe the Google Pixel 1, the 2. No, consistently, every single Pixel has been leaked more than any other device in the year, right?
And each leak has gotten worse.
Yeah, and then Google Pixel 5, if you remember, they had the launch event and everything. And then there was an NDA embargo for coverage. But there was one dude posting 20 videos with the device. And it's just like, seriously, like, I'm sorry, but you've released 5 devices. How have you not got a grip on this? Like, come on, seriously. Like, who needs to look at this? You need somebody to come in and say, you know, what the hell is going on? How can this even happen? A blunder like that, right? Where weeks earlier on, somebody's got a device and posting away, right? That in 2020, you know, that was 2020. And that just shouldn't happen, right? And as I said, every device leaks, right? And, you know, we've already seen leaked models of the iPhone and stuff. That's through case manufacturers. But to the extent that Pixels leak, no other device leaks. It's crazy. I hope you enjoyed that clip. If you want to hear the full podcast episode, then that will be linked down below. And if you want to see more clips like this, then be sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you don't miss them. Thanks for watching. This is Saf on SuperSaf Speaks, and I'll see you next time.